This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
It's a summer night in downtown Boston, June 1996. Young people are spilling out of nightclubs at closing time. There's laughter, music, street performers. The city is alive. And somewhere among them, a 20-year-old au pair from Sweden, bright, joyful, full of the promise of a new life, vanishes into the early morning darkness.
2 days later, half of her body would be found in a trash bin behind an apartment building near Fenway Park, dismembered, cleaned, and strangled. The other half has never been found.
Nearly 30 years later, her case remains one of the most disturbing and confounding unsolved murders in Boston's history.
Hi, I'm Susan.
And I'm Claire.
And this is Justice Pending, the murder of Karina Holmer.
So let's start with the victim in this case, Karina Erika Holmer. She was born in Sweden in 1975. Friends say she radiated joy, and she dreamed of adventure.
And she got it. In March of 1996, when she won a good amount of money on a lottery ticket, she didn't waste a second. She used the money to chase her dream, traveling to the United States and working as an au pair.
She was placed with a family in Dover, Massachusetts. These parents were an artist and a photographer, and she cared for their children. She made close friends, and she explored Boston on her days off. She was young, excited, curious, and enjoying her new life in America. On weekends, she loved dancing downtown with other au pairs.
And that joy, that naive sense of possibility, that's what makes what happened next so devastating.
Yeah, so she has not been in the States for very long, right? So she came in March, and this is now June, okay? So it's a Friday night, June 21st, 1996. Karina and her friends headed to Zanzibar, a popular nightclub in the theater district in downtown Boston. It was a place she knew well. It was vibrant, crowded, chaotic in the way that those big city nightclubs are.
And sometime after 2:30 a.m., her friends drifted out one by one. Karina, though, stayed behind. And witnesses later gave conflicting accounts. So some said she became very intoxicated and was asked to leave. Others said she seemed fine and left after chatting with a man outside.
Yeah, it's one of those really difficult to remember situations, right, Susan?
Right.
You've been out, it's 2:30 in the morning, and now someone's asking you, when was the last time you saw your friend and what were they doing?
That's right. Yeah.
It's no wonder that they're conflicting accounts, right?
Sure. How much had they had to drink? What can they remember? When, at what point in the night are they remembering her as she was behaving?
Yeah.
I mean, it can all blend together.
Yeah, so what authorities do know is that around 3 a.m., Karina was last seen on Boylston Street, possibly walking toward Tremont.
And then in one of the busiest nightlife corridors in Boston, she simply disappears.
Yeah, so it's not until Sunday morning, June 23rd, when a man is collecting cans behind an apartment building near Fenway Park, and he finds a heavy trash bag in a dumpster, and it's too heavy. He starts to move it, and he actually sees the bag tear, and part of a human torso slips out.
This is horrible. Horrible.
Yes.
Police rush to the scene, of course, and discover the remains are female, young, and this is the weird part, clean, scrubbed, prepared. I mean, dismembered with precision and with what they likely thought was an electric saw. cut just below the ribs. And, at this point, they only have the upper part of the body. The lower half of the body is still missing.
Yeah, this is just an unbelievable nightmare. It feels like, how could this possibly have happened in the middle of downtown Boston in this short period of time? So she's seen alive Friday night going into Saturday morning, and then this is Sunday morning. So sometime in between that, she has been taken from, this downtown street, taken somewhere, killed, and dismembered in a way that they had cleaned the body. I mean,
Strange.
what? Like, is there like some type of murder lab in downtown Boston? Like, how is this going on? How did no one see anything or hear anything, Susan?
I know. What also is puzzling to me is if you're going to leave half a body, you leave the part that can be identified, you leave the face. It's just
Yeah.
odd to me. Although I suppose the torso could have been just undiscovered and also disposed of somewhere else.
Yeah, it kind of seems like there were multiple trash bags and this one was found and the other one possibly ended up in a dump somewhere and
Right.
wasn't ever discovered. But what they could tell from the remains is that Karina had been strangled. There were ligature marks on her neck. And even the seasoned homicide investigators, Boston Police Department, talked about this brutality and the impact that it had on them.
I mean, there was a Boston Strangler a long time
Yes.
ago, right? I mean, this is maybe it's I don't know. But that does lead into the early theories. I mean, is
Yeah.
it serial killer? Is it panic disposal? So at first, Boston police did fear that they had a serial killer on their hands, mostly because of the precision,
Yep.
like the location, the dismemberment. But so they brought in the FBI behavioral science unit, and they had a different interpretation. They thought this looked like disposal, not ritual and not signature. I'm not sure why they thought that. It looked
Yeah.
like someone had painstakingly cleaned the body, which to me doesn't sound like a quick disposal.
Right. Right. I agree, Susan. It feels, the description at least feels like someone who knew what they were doing and was like calm and ordered.
Yes.
But according to the FBI,
Yeah.
they thought that the killer was likely a first-time offender, that they were panicked, they were inexperienced, and they were trying to hide evidence rather than expressing a pattern. So the idea that this person hadn't meant to kill anyone, they hadn't planned it. Suddenly they have a dead body on their hands, and maybe they're just like that type A personality, Susan,
Right,
and
right.
they're like, must get rid of the evidence. And so they chop it up into pieces and put it in a bag and put it away. I don't know. It seems a little over the top to me. I don't
It
think this
seems
is.
hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, right? So, the biggest problem for investigators is that there was no crime scene. There's no blood trail, there's no apartment that they know of, to search. They have nothing to go on. Obviously, Karina was not killed in that alley, right? There would be signs. Someone would have seen it. She wasn't killed and dismembered out there, but it's just the dump site. So, where do you even start?
I mean, yeah, without a crime scene, investigators are left with really just witnesses, hunches, I mean, pattern recognition, anything. I mean,
Yeah.
just they don't have any hard evidence to go on, except we do have a body in this case, and so do they.
Yes, and it's interesting, timing is always something that people are going to look into. Good things and bad things, right? What does the timing tell you? So, a few weeks before she was murdered, Karina wrote a letter to her family in Sweden. And in it, she said that she wanted to come home. She alluded that something bad had happened and she would tell them about it in person. She did not explain what had happened, why she wanted to come home, only that she was going to be there soon and she would tell them everything then.
Yeah, this is one of those details where you know, you're like, is she just complaining because she's a girl who's never really had to work before? She's
Yep.
so young,
Yep.
and so she's unhappy. Because in this letter, she also mentions that she is being assigned heavy housework that she hadn't been expecting, and that was not part of her au pair arrangement. So it's more like, is there something major that's frightening her? Is she just uncomfortable? Is she just like, well, I just want to go out and party and this life
Yeah.
is for me? I mean, we don't know if the letter is relevant, but it is certainly something.
Yeah, the timing is so interesting. And I mean, hey, we've all been 20. We've all quit jobs with no notice and been like, "Yeah, this wasn't what I signed up for. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And the difference is we didn't end up murdered and dismembered in trash bags. So no one thought twice about it. But, we just really don't know. And of course, police had to turn their attention to the family that Karina worked for. So I mean, they were the first suspects in this. And they looked at, the husband, he was a photographer and his wife was an artist. Of course, they interviewed the other au pairs that Karina was out with that night and in the area, and several au pairs said that they found the husband quote unquote weird. That was a word that came up in several police reports. So, they thought maybe he was too close to Karina. It's interesting.
Interesting. Also interesting was Karina had invited her friends to get ready for the club in his South Boston studio that night. So
Yeah.
other au pairs also saw that as highly unusual. And a fire broke out in a dumpster near the family's condo shortly after her murder. So there's a couple of things going on here. One is that Karina is using his studio, whether she had permission to or not, or he okayed it or not, or if she was there with him prior. We
Right.
don't know. And then the number two sort of strange thing to note is this fire. You know, is it an accident? Is someone destroying evidence? I mean, there's no evidence linking the fire to Karina, but police did investigate it, but it is
Yeah.
one of those strange timing things.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Yes, it's another timing thing, Susan. That's exactly what I was going to say, because why would you suddenly have this dumpster fire? Like, is this, are they catching fire all the time? Like this,
Right.
it's definitely throwing up some red flags for me. But according to police, the husband and wife had solid alibis and they were actually cleared, according to authorities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing, you have to start with the people she was living with, right? That you would think that's in any situation where someone's murdered, they're going to go back to their closest relationships and the people you're sharing a home with, whether you're working for them or it's, a personal relationship, they're going to be questioned. But the idea that there was something untoward going on with this young au pair and the husband. I mean, a tale as old as time, Susan,
Yeah,
right?
it's a little yawn. It's a little boring, but okay.
Well, it's certainly
A little on the nose, but
yeah, it is. It is. And, questions have lingered for years about what exactly Karina wanted to tell her family about her work situation and why she was leaving. But, we'll never know.
yeah. And now I'm going to throw something completely random at you. There, as is happening in this case. There's a bizarre figure who enters at some point. His name is
Yes.
Herb Witten.
Yep.
And he is there. He's kind of known as the Superman man. He's a man
Yeah.
who, with his dog, go out at night wearing matching Superman t-shirts. And he was a well-known eccentric presence in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he-
His name comes up again and again. The Superman t-shirts come up again and again. And people actually reported that they saw Karina speaking with him that night that she disappeared. So, I mean, it sounds like she was pretty social. He was out, she was out. The idea that they said hi to each other, maybe more, doesn't mean necessarily anything, but people are looking for any kind of lead to go on. And this is a lead, right? So police go out and talk to her. They check his story. And he talks about what he did that night and includes driving in his car shortly after meeting with um Karina in the street. And so as fate would have it, Susan, he actually got a speeding ticket that night. And that timestamp matched his alibi. And
Hmm.
so police cleared him as a suspect.
Yes, but a year later, he died by suicide. And so, that sort of raised some eyebrows
Yeah,
as well. Whether or not his role in Karina's final hours was relevant, it really just remains one of the case's enduring mysteries.
it does. I mean, I have to think if he was at all a suspect, I would hope that they would have checked out how close was his apartment? Did he own power tools? Like, what
Right. Ugh,
was it? Did it smell like bleach when you walked in?
right.
The fact that they have this speeding ticket and they clear him, it makes me think that there was nothing to see there. But the suicide,
Mhm.
people think, yeah, guilty conscience. Like, what could it be? Of course, we don't know anything about his life and what he possibly could have been dealing with, and
Right.
suicide, is such a
Right.
very difficult thing to understand under any circumstances. So um it's just another question mark in this case. When you think it can't get any harder to solve, you throw that out there. So
That's right.
it's yeah, it's just a baffling unsolved case.
I just think the biggest baffling item in this particular mystery is, where is the other half of her body?
Yep. Yep. Police and the FBI conducted massive searches across Boston. I mean, remember, it's just 2 days after she goes missing that they find the torso. So they know immediately we need to look for this lower half. And they search dumpsters, sewers, waterways, apartment buildings, trash cans. Um, the bottom half of Karina's body has never been found.
Yeah, and neither has any weapon or
Yeah,
clothing. I mean, there's just really nothing. There's no crime scene to speak of. Just
right.
there was actually a partial fingerprint on the trash bag, and that's never been linked to anyone.
Yeah, you have to hope it's a glimmer of hope, but you have to hope that maybe that fingerprint, is going to be matched one day. Um, and without the second half of Karina's body, medical examiners can't determine whether or not she's been sexually assaulted. They know that she's been strangled with a ligature, but it just adds to the mystery. Like, we really don't know how her life ended, where her life ended, or why.
Yeah, and it's not for lack of trying. I
Yeah.
mean, Boston investigators are some of the top in, I would say, the world.
Yep.
And they interviewed more than 300 people, friends, club goers, the family she worked for, other
Yep.
au pairs, her former boyfriends, and even one of their own. She had briefly dated a Boston police officer in her short time in the
Wow.
US. I know, but nothing, no leads panned out, nothing to speak of.
Yeah, this case has haunted Boston law enforcement, even decades later. One of the detectives, says he still goes out to the dumpster site and still thinks about Karina. he's still checking tips, even though he's retired. People are still thinking about this case and hoping that there's something going to break through so they can solve it.
Yeah, the prosecutor too said it's as haunting today as it was 20 years ago, if not more so, because whoever did this has never slipped up, has never confessed, and has never been caught. That is eerie.
It's terrifying, right? It's terrifying to think that someone capable of a crime like this could still be out among us, could be free, free to kill again. Who knows, right? So, I mean, some of the theories in this case, we've got a stranger abduction, right? We could be someone who just saw her intoxicated, beautiful woman alone, staggering out of a club late at night, and crime of opportunity. And then it's the really, really wrong person to end up going home with, right? Could be someone that she was out at the club with. Someone, was it someone she trusted enough to go with, Susan? Did she willingly go? It's just really crazy to think that whoever she went with, they were capable of doing something like this. I mean, dismembering a human body is insane. Like, I like to think that it's less than 1% of the population that would be capable of doing something like that.
That's right. And everyone's sort of looking at any connection they can find. So they looked at the 1999 murder of Delia Mendez, but that was down in Florida.
Yeah.
Because she was also dismembered, also placed in a dumpster, but nobody found any connection between the two.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really geographically, that's so far away. And I thought it was really strange that case even got singled out to be discussed. But I looked into that and I was like, okay, Florida to Boston, that's quite the leap. But yeah, I mean,
people move.
It's true. And that just goes to the point of very few killers will go through the trouble to dismember a body and to clean it and to dump it in a trash sack. Right. It is extra.
It is specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Could the case still be solved? I mean, we always want this answer to be yes. But in 2021 and again in 2022, the Boston police renewed their calls for information. So cold case units are continuing to accept tips. And, forensic technology really has advanced dramatically since 1996. So there, that partial fingerprint could be worth something, could be run again. DNA extraction methods are ever evolving. Unknown donor profiles can sometimes be rebuilt even from degraded samples. I mean, there's a million ways where this case could absolutely be solved one day.
Yes, I think hope springs eternal, and we've seen cases be solved that we thought we'd never find out who the Golden State Killer was, or these other cases that just seemed impossible. And so yeah, we are still hoping for justice for Karina Holmer. I mean, this case needs someone to come forward. They need an advancement in technology. It could be any number of things, Susan, that changes the fate for this case.
That's right. Karina crossed an ocean for adventure, wanted a taste of life, experience under her belt, but a dream was very quickly stolen from her.
Yes, and her father has campaigned for answers for decades, and her friends in Sweden still speak of Karina. They want people to know that her life mattered, her death mattered, and someone somewhere knows the truth.
And if you have information about the murder of Karina Holmer, no matter how small you think it is, please contact the Boston Police Homicide Unit or the Massachusetts Cold Case Unit. They are still working the investigation.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Justice Pending. We're taking a few weeks off for the holidays, but we'll be back in 2026 with all new cases.
Until then, stay curious, stay kind, and stay safe.
Justice Pending is recorded in Dallas, Texas for Rebel Studios. It's hosted by me, Claire Sanamaw, and Susan Passoni. Our theme music is Bending Truth licensed at premiumbeat.com. We appreciate all listener feedback. Leave a review wherever you're listening right now, and we might read it on the air. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.